Gaia's son Cronus severed his father's manhood and his genitalia was thrown into the sea. Uranus's blood and semen spilled into the ocean near the island of Cephalonia, where they formed a foamy white froth from which Aphrodite later emerged. Welcome to the history realm. But how could something so violent create something so beautiful? For sure this has to be the worst way to be born, don't you think? Anyway, soon enough the wind carried this foam and brought it to the island of Cyprus, near the city of Paphos, where the goddess emerged onto the land floating on a seashell. Eventually, there she was welcomed by the gods and declared her the goddess of love and duty. In Aphrodite's second birth story, she is a daughter of Zeus. In this story, Aphrodite's mother is a goddess called Dione, about whom little else is known. It is notable that the name Dione is a feminized form of the name Zeus. If that is the case, it seems like Zeus is just being credited for creating Aphrodite on his own. Well, you let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, let's move on. In another story of someone to be welcomed to join the gods is Psyche. Psyche was so stunning that people worshipped her like Aphrodite. This enraged the goddess, who sent her son Eros, the god of desire, to fire an arrow at Psyche, which would make her fall in love with a hideous creature. Eros sneaked into Psyche's bedroom ready to fire an arrow, but he slipped and pierced himself with it instead. He then fell helplessly in love with Psyche and defied his mother's command. Many years passed by, and yet Psyche could not find a husband. Instead, men simply worshipped her as if she were a goddess. Psyche's beauty made her loathe herself, but her father went to visit an oracle to ask what could be done. The oracle instructed him to have her dressed in funerary clothing and stand on a mountaintop, where she would meet her future husband, a terrifying monster. Her father allowed this grim prophecy and carried her to the mountain in funeral attire as requested. What would be a crazy twist is if they went to the mountain as instructed and nothing happened. That was the end of the story. But that's not what happens. Psyche actually fell asleep. But on waking up, she found herself near a palace made of gold, silver, and jewels. An invisible male voice welcomed her in and told her the palace was her home, and he was her new husband. She wed an invisible creature who visited only at night and leaving before sunrise, so she never saw his face. She came to eventually love him, but curiosity led her to a candle, which she took to reveal her husband's face. And it didn't take her long to identify him, Eros, the god of carnal love. A drop of oil woke him, and he flew away, leaving Psyche to search for him on Earth. Eventually, she begged Aphrodite to help her get Eros back. So Aphrodite punished her, giving her impossible tasks to fail, like separating different grains from one another, shearing shining gold fleeces from the backs of violent rams, and collecting the black water from the river Styx. But with the help of others, Psyche managed to complete all the tasks. Hearing of Psyche's struggles, Eros returned right away. He flew to her aid and he pleaded with Zeus, the king of the gods, to make her immortal so they could be together. He made his decision to make Psyche immortal and elevated her to Olympus, as the goddess of the soul. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe for more great stories. Now, another great example of elevation to Olympus is the story of Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos of Crete and his wife Pasiphae in Greek mythology. Ariadne's father Minos imprisons the Minotaur, a half-man and half-bull, in a labyrinth beneath the floors of the Cretan palace of Knossos. The labyrinth in mythology is a complex underground maze, but Ariadne is often described as having a special connection to the Minotaur and sympathizing with the creature. But she decides that helping the Athenian, Theseus, is more important, either because of her infatuation with him or out of horror at the ongoing slaughter of the innocent Athenians sacrificed to the monster. Ariadne's actions meant that she had to flee her home with Theseus once she had enabled his victory. After betraying her father, Ariadne sails away to Naxos with Theseus, who had promised to marry her. However, he leaves her sleeping on the island and returns to Athens without her. I can just imagine her father saying, "I warned her about those Athenian boys." In this version, the Olympian god of wine, Dionysus, orders Theseus to leave her as the god is captivated by her beauty and wants her for his own bride. Theseus cannot refuse the god, and so he gives Ariadne up. Dionysus eventually made her immortal by retrieving her from the underworld as he did with his own mortal mother, Semele, and ascended with her to Olympus. Well, there you have it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more great stories in the future. I have also attached another video in the descriptions below that you might enjoy. Until next time on the History Realm.